Hello, and welcome to another episode of Movies That Make Us. I'm Jake.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Val.
And we have a special guest with us, Craig Price from Matinee Heroes. Welcome, Craig.
I'm Craig.
Hey,
Hello.
Craig.
Hey, how are you guys? Excited.
He's been nice enough to have us on his show a couple times, so
Yes.
now we're returning the favor.
Yeah, I feel like it's an obligation at this point. But,
No.
No, absolutely not. We're
not gonna
thrilled
say
to
that
have you.
out loud.
Yeah.
'cause I know,
Especially not when we're recording.
I know that Val and I are birthday buddies,
We
That's
are.
true.
and so I was really glad to have her on in August for. We had Robin Williams month because I wanted to do that for my birthday, and then my co-host Alan's like, "Let's just do a whole month."
Yep.
And then we've had you on, Tracy. We had you in May, but you're going to be doing The Shining in
That's
October.
coming, yes,
yeah,
and
because
then
I had to
Saving Private Ryan.
because September is crazy because I'm here for 2 weeks, and then my co-host is at a film festival for 2 weeks. So September is like a vast wasteland for us. And as far as recording, I think we can record once,
Wow.
and we're going to be able to record like in 2 weeks
Oh,
and for
Wow.
one day, and we got a great one. So I'm excited. It's
Oh,
going to
cool.
be
That's
Adam
awesome.
Marcus, the director of Jason Goes to Hell,
Nice.
specifically requested to do The Exorcist.
Wow.
that's
and-
cool.
So-
and then Jake, you've been on
Just one time?
once, but that's
Yeah.
because you're still new.
I've only been on once.
Yeah.
So that's fine. We've all been on once.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Once,
At
but
least
one coming.
once.
Yeah, and we're going to have you guys come back.
Yeah.
For those of our listeners that may not be familiar with Matinee Heroes,
Oh,
why don't you
you're
tell
not.
us-
They're not. I
Yeah.
can tell by the downloads. They are not familiar with us at all.
So tell us a little bit about what your show is, what the format is, and why they should tune in.
Well, we like to talk about the good things about movies. When we started a couple years ago, almost all of the movie podcasts that you could find were people making fun of or celebrating bad movies.
Right.
And my co-host Alan Cerny is he's a film reviewer for Vital Thrills now, but he was one of the people who worked for Ain't It Cool News back in the day, and we got tired of having everybody crap all over movies, and we like to just talk about movies. So he used to come on my business podcast and talk every couple months, and we'd talk about like the summer movies or something. And when we finally did the spin-off, it's like, let's find a format where we can talk about movies we love, talk about heroes, and not necessarily just superheroes, but
Right.
you know, it could be. We had Selma,
Right.
We've done with Saving Private Ryan. We did the Robin Williams movies, but something where we can celebrate and learn from something.
Right.
And so we talk about the movie for about 20, 30 minutes or an hour or however we want, depending on the movie. And then we do something that I really love, and I think a lot of our listeners like. That's the most feedback we get is we recast. And that's not saying we don't like the people that are in the movie, but I like to think of it as a play. You know, everybody wants to do Othello before they die. The great actors I want to see, Anthony Hopkins do Hamlet.
Right.
Well, I want to, so we recast the movie we use Doctor Who rules, as I call it,
Right,
through
right.
all of space and time, anybody you want. And so sometimes I like to theme them up.
Right.
Like, if this movie was based, like Dead Poet Society was based
Yeah.
in 1950s, so I just kind of found people in the 50s.
I like that.
But sometimes I'll throw in, I think we just did one where was it Wilford Brimley?
Yes,
I'm
on
a
The
little
Shining.
preview. Wilford Brimley, I paired him up with the new people because I wanted Wilford Brimley as the Scatman Brothers character. And then we double feature the movie.
Yes.
So, like I like to tell you when I have anybody from Utah on, it's like, you have Broovies for the day. Because my wife and I, our first date was at Broovies.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we saw Kissing Jessica Stein. Not a very good movie.
Okay.
But, yeah.
At least the result
The
was
date
good.
went
Yeah,
better
yeah.
than
The
the
date
movie.
went-
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
And we're still married to this day, 17 years later.
Awesome.
And so, but we like to have them give you a kind of expand. What else can you see? So
Right.
hopefully a lot of people, especially with Alan. Alan's such a cinephile. I'm not a casual viewer, but I'm not a super hardcore. No, I'm not. And my
Right.
brain doesn't work that way anyways. Like today, we're going to talk about Superman 2.
Right.
I've seen the movie in the last 3 days. I may forget some things.
That's all right.
Sure, absolutely.
That's all right.
What?
We do too. It's fine. It's fine. And I've got to say, the
You get 3
recasting part
strikes.
on your show was probably the most stressful thing I've ever done on a
Right.
podcast. I wanted to make sure I got it right, but it was a lot of fun.
Well-
I love doing it. It was a lot of fun.
That's the difference between a guest and Alan. I love Alan, but he's such an encyclopedic mind, but he doesn't really prepare for that.
He
does-
just off the cuff knows.
He knows all these people,
Yeah.
and he'll say a name, and I'm like, who? Though he has a tendency to, he has a couple mainstays. We've had to banish Rita Hayworth
Oh.
Because he would
So you just-
recast her over and over again.
okay.
It's like, look, we got to put a ban on that.
There's other actresses out there to choose from.
yeah. Let's settle down. Like we did.
I would like Scarlett Johansson as everyone in
Yeah.
every movie all the time.
and Richard Jenkins pops up a lot, but we love him so much that we're not going to recast him. And then sometimes we'll do a movie like when we did Aladdin, which we just put out before.
Right.
The Robin Williams
The Robin
version.
Williams,
Yeah.
we didn't recast anybody because you can't.
Right.
And we talked about all the people they thought they would recast.
Oh,
so we talked
interesting.
about,
Nice.
who they actually thought of John Goodman doing it. And I'm like, how that would be.
That would be different.
That would be totally different.
Yeah.
And so, and we've done movies you've done. I listened to the Muppet episode,
Right.
and that was great. I did correct you a little bit, but that's okay.
So who? Yeah, I
true.
love it when people correct us. So who?
It's our favorite.
It's our favorite. It's fine. It's
It was a
fine.
big
I'm
thing,
an
though. It was
unreliable
massive.
narrator,
It was
okay?
a massive. It was big.
Yes.
I had to.
No,
Sesame
thank
Street
you for
came
calling
out
me on
before
that.
the Muppet
Well,
movie.
like
Yes.
a decade. It's always like
I mean, it was close.
So who is your Muppet?
Your
Spirit
spirit
Your
Muppet.
spirit Muppet.
See now, when we did Avengers Infinity War, Alan recast everybody as Muppets because we had just done that.
All
for
right,
our-
now I've got to go find that episode.
But,
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. For me, I'm probably like a Scooter.
I can
Okay.
see that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
can
even.
totally
I'm
see
nothing
that.
exciting.
I can see that.
I'm,
Scooter's fine.
Scooter's
exactly. Scooter's fine.
Yeah, he is
That's
fine.
exactly
Yeah,
right. He's fine. He's not.
he's there.
He's not fantastic. He's not awful. He's
I'm
fine.
Beaker. You don't even know what to do with me.
No, I liked what you said though. We like you. We may not know why, but we like you. We just
Yeah.
do. It is what it
We
is.
don't know.
Yeah.
There's something.
Who's the guy
There's
that?
something there.
Who's the guy that throws the fish?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
blow stuff up too.
Yeah, but he throws the fish is what I remember.
yes.
So I'm
Yep.
like, but I'm
I
I'm
have to
very
can't remember,
nondescript.
but-
It's my life has been really
It's the
weird. So
background
it's
guy.
yeah,
Get stuff done behind the scenes.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I like that.
Awesome. Well, we're very excited to have you here, Craig. And you're
I'm here
here
for-
because we're doing Fan X this
Mhm.
week, right? And Craig and I, the first time we worked together on anything was a panel at Fan X.
Yep, I've been on a panel with everyone here.
Yes. And we did Superman, the motion picture, which was one of my favorite panels that I've ever done.
And I have to say, as an audience member, that was one of my favorite panels listening to. That was
Right.
just a
Thank
top
you.
to
I
bottom great
think
panel.
I moderated that one.
You did.
You
And
did.
I was
I-
actually very impressed behind the scenes. I'll let people know you're very well organized as a moderator,
Yeah.
very professional.
It freaked out people this year too because
Yeah.
I'm doing Shawshank Redemption, and so like because I have to leave a week early just to be because I come here.
Right.
I send out emails and they're like, "What?" And I ask
Wait, you prepare in advance? That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
it's weird.
I ask people for questions. I like, "What 2 questions?" I don't need questions,
Right.
so I'm not trying to not do my job. I'm like, "What are 2 questions that you'd like me to ask you?"
Right.
Feelers.
Right.
Because I get tired of people afterwards going, "Oh, I wish you had asked me this. Oh, I wish you'd asked me that." Well, I'm not psychic. If you
Yeah,
don't
you
speak
gotta
up,
let me know. Well, and it was funny because we did have a couple of panelists I know in our little group chat that were like, listen, I'm going to show up. I'm going to talk about Superman. I'm fine. I'm good to go. I thought, no, this is a great opportunity. So I really appreciated
Oh.
your preparation. I enjoyed that panel. I thought if we're going to have Craig on the show, let's do the sequel to that panel with my 2 favorite panelists.
Aww.
thank you.
Well,
What?
3 favorite panelists.
I'm like, wait.
I was motioning to
Like-
Val and Tracy.
Oh, I
and
thought,
I was-
I thought it was me and Val. I didn't realize I know.
I mean, sometimes we like Tracy.
yeah.
I don't even like me all the
Listen,
time. so
he's
that's
been on a good run lately. We
He
haven't
has
had to say
been.
once if you disagree with Tracy.
It has been a minute.
It has been.
It has been a
Maybe
while.
today we'll break the streak.
Maybe let's not go for it. Let's like.
Yeah, it's not a goal.
So
I
today
mean,
we're
it kind of is.
so
Just
today
like
we're going to
it's-
talk about Superman 2. Go ahead.
It's
Sorry,
a
I
goal
cut you
to
off.
get you to take your glasses off
Yes,
because we somehow
just my glasses.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. It happens. You'll
No,
see.
I've listened to the
They'll-
podcast.
they'll
I
do
know what
it.
he's talking about. And then Val was telling us we talked about you on our podcast.
Yeah.
So thanks for
man.
listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to
Thanks for
the best
supporting the other-
podcast ever.
I appreciate the
Dead
support.
Poet Society.
I'm behind a little bit on Matinee Heroes. It's
You're upset because the first all the first words that I gave after I introduced you were you told me how young you were and I just lit into you.
I know. I remember. It was funny
No, yeah, he said it was
because
it
it's
was funny.
totally my fault that I'm that young.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it is. It's exactly You get older.
It's
You see,
I'm doing the best I can.
well here's the thing.
one day
I
at a
can
time,
only
buddy.
do exactly one day at a time.
You've got like 9 kids, so
6.
You're,
Yeah.
well, you're technically like physically probably older, even though I'm actually older.
Yeah.
But because of you have kids, you're aging faster than I am.
That's very
the
true.
Years, not or it's the mileage, not the years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm like a
Indiana
300,000
Jones.
mile 2018.
Yeah.
Corolla.
Having kids is like having like dog years.
I don't know. What's like
You can't fit many people in a Corolla.
You're right. Minivan. Definitely a
I've tried.
minivan. Yeah, I've tried. Awesome.
Having kids is like dog years. You get, for every one with a kid, it's
It
like
speeds
7
it
in real
all up.
life. Yeah.
That's a good point. So today we're going to talk about Superman 2, one of my favorite movies growing up.
I watched this movie so much as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yep.
ridiculous.
HBO all the time.
Yeah. And this one for me, so now I think Superman, the motion picture, the first one, is my favorite of the Superman movies. But I think growing up, it was Superman 2.
Yeah,
I don't think it holds up as well as Superman, the motion
You don't
picture
think?
now. I don't think so.
Oh, that was me being sarcastic.
I picked up on it too late. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
There's a couple issues I have with it, especially near the end.
Yeah. And we'll talk about all of that. So, but yeah, I mean, and there's the Donner cut. We got to talk about the Donner cut.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So what did you guys watch for this? Because no one told me which one to watch, and the one that I had the easiest access to was the Donner cut.
That's the one I had. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I rented it.
I-
I don't get to have all this stuff.
Yeah,
My
I-
wife won't let me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, we only have so much room.
Yeah. Streaming. You just get it on iTunes and then it
Yeah.
doesn't take up any room.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
No, I watched both for it just to
Oh,
prepare.
wow. I don't have that
Nice.
kind of time.
Nice.
I don't really either, but I don't know.
He's dedicated.
I do. I had plenty of time. I still didn't.
Well, and the truth is, you watch both of them back to back, and you realize not back to back. That would be a little extreme, but
Yeah.
Right.
you watch both of them close together, and you realize the Donner cut's
So,
pretty
So can
good.
you explain to people
I was going to
the
say,
Yeah,
those that
yeah.
don't know, yeah.
So what happened is Richard Donner directed Superman the motion picture, and while he was doing that, he was also doing Superman 2. They were doing it simultaneously.
That's because the Salkinds are cheap.
Yes.
They-
Salkinds are the villains in this story, by
Oh,
the
they're
way.
awful people.
Yeah. They are cheap, and they wanted to get two movies for the price of one. So he had his vision of what Superman 2 was going to be in the whole story arc of Superman and Superman 2. And then after Superman came out and they were working on Superman 2, the conflict between him and the Salkinds got so much, which Richard Donner and the Salkinds, that he
And
was-
they were the producers.
they were the producers, and they removed him from the film and brought on Richard Lester.
Lester.
Yep.
Yep. And he finished Superman 2 and added some of his own elements into it. A lot of his own elements
And he
into
actually
it.
reshot exactly the same
Mhm.
because there's a rule with the Directors Guild that you can't put your name on it unless more than 60%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
Right.
it's 60%.
So he was
yeah.
like, we have a great shot of this, but we're
We
going
need
to
to
do it again
yeah.
because I have to do it. And
Yeah.
it's almost like that Gus Van Sant shot for shot remake
Yeah.
of Psycho.
Psycho.
It's
Right.
like it's totally useless, but we got to do it because
I want, yeah. Well, and what's interesting is Richard Donner had actually never seen the theatrical cut of Superman 2.
I don't blame him.
And they offered to put him on as a co-director, right, to give him credit as a director.
Right.
And he started screening it, and he got through the Paris scene with the terrorists,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, nope, I don't want any credit. I don't want anything to do with this movie. And he just kind of walked away. Well, years later, 2006, Warner Brothers came to him and they pulled out some old footage and worked with him. And he got to piece together with Lester's footage and his footage, kind of his vision of what the film was going to be.
Yeah, they were doing it because the Brandon Roush Superman was coming out,
Right.
and that was a direct homage to the original Superman.
Right.
Right.
So they thought, well, this would be fun. We have all this
Well,
material.
And they also
Right.
got permission from the Brando estate to use it in the Brandon Routh, and that opened the door for them to use it for the Donner cut.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, because in Superman 2, Rando's not in it at all.
Right.
In the theatrical cut.
Right.
Because the studio didn't want to pay him for the
Exactly.
footage. But they had shot a bunch of footage that was supposed to be in there
That they just never used.
and that they didn't use. Right.
Did you guys watch just rewatch the trailer for shits and giggles before you watched the movie?
No.
You should have, because it's horrible.
Really?
Sure it
It's
is. Yeah.
fantastic. It is so. I watched it twice. It's so bad. I watched it twice.
You're like,
That's
there's no
awesome.
way this is the real
I was
trailer.
like, what? What is this?
You know, trailers have come a long
you know
way.
what? I'm
Yeah,
going to
they
post
have.
a link of the trailer onto our Facebook page because
That's
it's
awesome.
horrible and everyone needs to experience it.
I remember.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand how good our trailers are these
they're
days.
I have to
Yeah.
on our podcast when we preview the next movie.
Right.
So at the end, I will use the trailer,
Right.
and there are a lot of bad, awful
Yes.
trailers.
Oh, for sure.
And even the ones that are good back then were only because they pretty much told you the whole story, so you had an
Exactly.
idea whether you should go or not.
Yeah, this wasn't good.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch it. I know I sat in a panel one time where they were talking about Star Wars and the history of Star Wars, and they showed one of the original trailers for Star Wars. And it was kind of the same thing. I remember thinking, why did anybody go see this movie when it came out? Because the trailer was just awful.
It's like watching the old Star Wars trailers and the Superman trailer is like watching a mathematician try to explain something fun. That's not math. That they know nothing about.
My favorite.
You don't have to say that's not math when you say something fun, because
some
obviously
people
it's
might
not
be out
math.
there like,
Yeah.
well, I love math.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear
Math
about
nerds.
you and your math nerds, but it's like somebody explaining something that knows nothing about what they're talking about, and yet you still want to go see this?
Yeah.
No.
My favorite trailers were in the 50s and the 40s. 'cause
Oh, yeah.
They'd be sitting in, their folding chairs on set and go, well, let me tell you about a movie I'm in. And then they'll kind of describe it, and they get up and they walk across the set, but
That's
it's
awesome.
all just exposition. And
Yep.
they don't have any clips because it's not done.
Right.
So
They haven't put any together
They probably
yet.
did that the first day.
Yep.
And so it's like, here, I'm going to talk about this. And it's just awful.
Well, they
Just
turned
awful.
the films over so much faster back then too.
Oh, yeah.
So they had to do that early in order to get the promotion out. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we watched the Donner Cut, most of us that watched it. And there are some big differences. So one of the first things I noticed was the opening, obviously, because that's like at the beginning. So that's why it's easy to notice that.
Yeah, because I was going, where's the Eiffel Tower in mine? Because I forgot. Because I hadn't seen Superman 2 probably since 89, 90. I'm like, where is the Eiffel Tower in this? And it never showed up.
And in the theatrical cut, that's such an interesting scene because they go to Paris, there's these terrorists, a hydrogen bomb, and it really was just a device to break the three Kryptonians out of the Phantom Zone, right? Which they took care of in the Donner Cut by showing that it was the nuclear warheads that he sent into space that freed
It was
them.
also the best CGI I've ever seen.
Yeah, clearly.
No. It's so funny. Like, I used to watch this movie all the time, and then I'm watching it now because I watched it with the version with the Eiffel Tower, and it's in the trailer as well. And I was like, how did I not laugh my ass off when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Because when you were a kid, that looked good.
I was like, this is amazing, and I want that outfit. Ew.
Which, the Kryptonian
So the
outfits?
Kryptonian girl.
Ursa.
This is why there's a lot of reasons why this movie doesn't work now.
Right.
But her outfit is totally ridiculous
It is
in the best
incredibly-
way
yeah.
ever. Like, why does she have all these slits? Oh, that's because she's going to go to Studio 54 in a minute and wear that.
I thought she
know.
was in a David Bowie cover band. So I,
I mean,
didn't know.
maybe. Either way, it'll work for either of those occasions. But the men don't have those slits.
No,
they don't.
I would have
Well,
liked to see that.
And not just the slits, but when she starts collecting the different patches and buttons,
They
and
go
where she
right on her nipples. I
Well,
was
that's
I
what
What is
noticed
going
that.
on?
Where else are they supposed to go?
Yeah, I know. I was.
And then I
That's
could
what I
name
do
a
when
few
I buy
places.
buttons at FanX.
I could name a few places, but that's just me.
So I like the beginning of the Donner Cut a lot more because the Paris scene doesn't have anything to do with the story except to free the Kryptonians, whereas the Donner Cut, it flows a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Although one of my favorite lines from the movie is when Clark says, "Well, that's terrible," to Perry White, and he says, "That's why they're called terrorists, Clark." It's an awesome line. It's
I forgot that line.
It's second only to when he walks back into the truck stop and he says, "That's funny. I've never seen garbage eating garbage before."
That is my favorite line ever.
It's a great line, but it's not. Superman would not go back.
No, he wouldn't go back for revenge.
for revenge after he has superpowers because he knows he
Right.
can accidentally kill this guy.
You know what? Maybe he had a Monday. Some of us have a Monday, and we want to just walk right back in there and say, you know what?
That's the difference. Batman gets Mondays.
that's
Superman does
true.
not get Mondays.
I don't think
That's
you
what
should
makes him
take away
Superman.
Superman Mondays. That's not very nice.
Every day is Monday to Batman.
Well, don't you worry,
That's
because in
true.
Superman
Batman's
3,
got nothing but
angry.
Mondays.
in Superman 3,
Oh,
he's having
yes.
a Monday.
Oh,
That's
yes.
true.
That whole movie, he's a Monday.
Yeah.
Drunk, angry Superman is just flicking those peanuts into the glass.
But it is
I love
interesting.
the way that sound made in that movie, by the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
the peanut sound.
That was fantastic.
Is that not how they sound in real life?
No.
Oh,
It sounded a little bit like when Ant-Man bends over and he's like, lick me. Bink.
which is also one of my favorite parts of that
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. So, but it's interesting though because it is so out of character for Superman to go back and seek revenge, and we give
Right.
Zack Snyder such a hard time for not understanding the character. boy, I mean, that scene is just weird to me. Superman's not going to go back and beat up the trucker.
No, because he didn't. He's
got nothing to prove.
He might, if he actually legitimately worked out and then still didn't have his superpowers and might go back. I will give him that because now he's truly human.
Right.
But he knows that if all he has to do is accidentally 0.5% hit him too hard and his face caves in.
It reminds me of so sometimes on the radio I will lose a bet, so I have to use a word or a sentence on the radio that I wouldn't normally use. And
we should start doing that on our show.
I feel like maybe that's what happened on set. It's like, dang it, I lost at poker last night. Now I've got to use his daughter's line in this movie. But I like that line, and I'm glad it's there.
Oh, I love it. It's one of my favorites.
It may not make sense. I don't care.
Some other differences between the Donner cut and the theatrical cut. Lois Lane figuring out that he's Superman.
Yeah,
right.
I think is done way better in the Donner cut than it is in the theatrical cut.
I like how she's less stupid.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like, she's not a stupid person.
No.
She's not a stupid woman. And I feel like in the Donner cut, they make her, it just is more realistic to me that she feels that way.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Superman is always here whenever Clark's not here. Clark's never here. But when he is here, he's 6'3". He's got big, broad shoulders. I mean, it's the only time I saw a picture of Zooey Deschanel without her glasses. It was a meme, and they're like, I can see how people would not recognize Clark Kent because I didn't recognize her at all without her.
She's adorable.
She is adorable with the glasses, but without them, she looks like a different person.
Yeah,
but that's Christopher Reeve. And there's not that many, 6'3", good-looking guys.
Well, and she's an investigative reporter.
Yeah, she's
not just a tabloid reporter,
Well, and I love the scene at the beginning of the Donner cut when she's got the paper and she's looking at Clark and he's got his arms folded and Superman's in the picture. He's got his arms folded. So she starts drawing the hat and the glasses on there.
Clues.
Yeah, I was like, see, she's brilliant.
Did you? Yeah. That's why Superman didn't ever wanted to be in a stamp because he was afraid that the Kalamazoo stamp, when they put it over, it would cover the eyes and people would recognize it was Clark Kent.
I kind of had that feeling like in Far From Home.
That's canon.
In Far From Home, when she tells, Spider-Man, like, I've known it was you the whole time. I kind of felt like that. I felt that back. I know it's DC and Marvel, whatever. No, but don't get mad at me.
It's a great comparison.
But like for me, I was like, see, she's not stupid. And I felt like in both of these movies, they don't give these female characters enough credit because they're both like super zippy and just like smart. Yep. I said super zippy.
I know we're going to remember that for a long time.
Oh,
did you lose a bet before we started this
episode? Is that the magic word?
I don't care about bets. I'll say whatever I want.
I know. But we were watching it, and my wife said, "Well, if they don't have the weird fireplace, because the hotel room is totally different in the Donner cut, it looks like a real hotel room instead of some weird pink sex fantasy hotel room. I don't know.
They were shooting it at a porn studio.
Yeah, it was weird.
Because that's all they had the money for.
It was Niagara Falls in the 70s,
early 80s. That's
so
a good point.
Let's not forget they had those stupid, weird mirrored ceilings.
Yeah,
the silky.
But the pink bearskin rug. It was.
You weren't there. You don't know.
I don't know.
You weren't even born then.
It was before. Porn's gotten a lot better since that time. All right.
It was like Miss Piggy porn. Put that in your mind.
Whoa.
You're welcome.
Whoa.
I'm sure he has before. Let's not say that this is the first time he's thought of that. She puts that little leg up with that little high heel stuck in there.
Look.
She's got good games for a pig.
Everyone loves bacon.
I'll be the first to admit I've felt things, all right? But it's
felt things.
No, I'm just.
Is that a euphemism, or are you actually feeling things?
Wow, I'm so excited he's here. We're both sitting on the same side. This may be the
earliest that the glasses come off. Anyway,
that's the bet.
But without the fireplace in the middle, my wife was like, "How is he going to fall in the fire to burn his hand?"
Right.
I said, "I don't know. I can't remember how this works out." And then when she pulls out the gun and shoots him. That was awesome.
That was great.
I was like, well, what if she had been wrong? And then she says, oh, well, it was blanks. And anyway, but I love that scene.
Yeah.
She outsmarts him.
Yeah, but here's the thing about Superman.
Okay.
Wouldn't he be able to see the bullet come out? Like, he knows he's not going to get shot, and he would at least have felt even if it didn't kill him, he'd still feel that every time.
Yeah. Would he? I don't know.
I don't know. But, I mean, I have to give a little more credit than that.
It would make that little noise. Ding.
He has X-ray vision. He knows he would be able to see the lead bullets.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's distracted by the beautiful woman in front of him.
Well, he's panicked.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
He's thinking she's going to figure this out if she shoots me.
But he's also always Twitter-pated. Like,
yeah, he is.
she's his kryptonite.
Yeah.
Like, he's always stupid when he's around her.
No, wait, though. I thought kryptonite was his kryptonite.
Listen.
It's
I'm just
co-kryptonite.
saying.
But he doesn't ever admit it. Like, he is stupid around her.
He is really
true.
stupid
He's a
around her.
superhero, except for when he's around her, and then he's just stupid. But it's
Well,
a
I mean,
good
yeah,
stupid
he's
because
willing to
he's
give
in
up.
love. Yeah.
He's willing to give up everything to be with her,
Yeah.
which I don't understand why that rule is in place in this version of the DC universe.
It is a weird.
Can we talk
Caveat.
about all of, like, the just blatant, like, sexual
Yes.
innuendos in this movie?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that there were so many until I watched it again. Like when they're having the champagne and he undoes the cork and she's like, "Oh," I'm like, that's how powerful it will be. We've all thought about it. What would it be like?
I saw what was that Hitchcock? I saw that. I know what happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't think we haven't talked about that at length. Like, what would happen? I don't know
Would
if
she
it,
die?
Yeah.
No, she doesn't, because obviously in the later movies that are so good, she has a baby.
Right.
That's true. In Superman Returns, she has a baby. That's his.
a super baby.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Lois looks like she's about 14 in that movie.
yeah.
I mean,
And in the comics, they have a kid together.
Yeah.
Now, so somehow it works. I don't know.
I know. Well, see, when a man
No,
and
no,
a
no,
woman
no, no, no.
loves each other.
Listen, 6 kids. I get it. I know how it works.
I was shocked myself when you
I
asked.
think we should stop explaining it to him,
I-
honestly. I don't think.
I think I got it down.
I was shocked when he said it myself. I'm
I
like,
got it figured out, my friend.
Gene Hackman is my favorite Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he's incredible.
fantastic. He's
I
so
really
cocky.
thought I was going to like Kevin Spacey more
Yeah.
than Gene
He should've
Hackman,
been
but I
great.
didn't. Well, he was fine. But,
he should've been
but the
great.
movie sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really his fault that the movie sucked.
Right.
But Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor is
Oh.
my favorite.
Totally.
He's
he's
just
awesome.
a pompous
Yeah.
ass, and I love
He
him.
plays it so perfectly. And
I
love
would have dated him. Like,
Miss Schumacher.
Well,
yeah, like he's a pompous ass. Plus, he was really good looking back then.
He's rich.
I mean, sure. There's that. I don't
Doesn't
really care.
hurt.
I don't really care, but
Yeah.
whatevs.
Well, he was the greatest criminal genius of his time,
It's true.
according to him.
According to him.
Yeah, I mean, just ask him. He'll tell you all about it.
I feel like that sounds
Well,
like someone else we
And he
know.
had a great bumbling henchman.
he had bumbling
president.
henchmen, and
True.
everybody around him was an idiot.
Mr. Luthor.
They're all stupid.
Otis is one of my favorite henchmen in any movie, period. I still love in the first movie when he does Otisburg on the...
And he has to rub it. He's rubbing it off
Yeah.
because he's upset. He's like, it's a town. It's just a
It's
little
just a
town.
little itty-bitty place. Like,
Otisburg.
I love it. Otis is great. And Miss Tessmacher is fantastic. And I love
She's
in the Donner
fantastic.
cut, they've added in where she finds the bathroom because he's talking to himself and she's gone. And then you hear the toilet flushing in the background. I'm like, that is awesome. I didn't know I
and it
needed
was
that in my
really just a guy
Superman.
named Larry that was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the noise she made afterward. Didn't she go, woo?
Yeah. She's like, I found it.
I found it, flush, woo! Because I think it was ice cold.
Probably.
did she fall in? I mean,
I'm assuming it's made either
It's
out
a
of crystal
bidet.
or made out of ice. It's one of the two.
Well, it's got to be
One of
because
the
that's
two.
all there is
That's
up there:
right.
crystals and ice.
So she either
it's-
cut herself or she froze herself.
Yeah,
Or both.
or which isn't just not fun.
I hope it's not like if you stick your tongue to the flagpole.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, that would be a different scream. Don't you think it would be more like a terror?
How would I know? I don't know the screams.
let's try this out.
Mr. Serial Killer. I don't know what different screams are.
Listen, there's like
You hide
amusement
behind your 6
ride
kids,
scream,
don't
like
you?
woo, and then there's like in pain scream.
Such a sweet, nice guy. Have we checked under the
Diabolical. It's the people you never suspect.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
All right,
Kids,
Beatty.
the kids are just a front.
I'm gonna
He's
call-
got a long-term goal, and he's
Yeah.
gonna pull this off.
I'm
Yeah.
the BTK. All right, we're ready to go.
All right.
So, real quick, on the Donner cut,
yes.
are there times that drove you crazy? And there's nothing they could do about it, but the haircuts are different.
Oh
Yes.
my
The build
gosh.
is different.
The
and
continuity of this film
It
is
is
ridiculous.
hard to
Yeah.
watch at times because
Christopher
of that.
Reeve lost weight because he had to went back to regular work.
Right,
He
right.
took on a drama because he's a Juilliard trained actor. He's an
Yeah,
amazing
he's
actor.
an amazing
Right.
actor. Yeah.
And
He's the creepiest of creepy villains when they have him play creepy people.
Yes.
what was
Oh,
was it
yeah.
Mouse? Not Mousetrap. What was the one with him and Michael
Death
Caine?
Trap.
Death Trap.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
a brilliant
that's
film.
great.
I love that movie.
Yeah. He's a very good actor. He can play the best of the best and the worst of the worst. It's
Him
really
and Robin
amazing.
Williams are best friends.
Yep.
With Tim Conway, right? No.
Tim Conway?
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy. Tim Conway was
Let's
a little
talk
bit.
about how different that is.
Yes, that's a wow. That's a little different. Well, we were,
Is there anything in your drink, sir?
yeah. Just about he and Kevin Conroy are roommates. But
Yes.
Christopher Reeve were best friends. They continued their relationship for years and years and years. In fact, when I was very fortunate, I got to meet Christopher Reeve in New York City, but it was after the accident. And he was talking about when he was in the hospital when he just had the accident happen. Robin Williams would come and like grab his chart and he'd be standing behind him so he couldn't see who it was, but he'd be doing weird voices and talking about, well, we had to take off your testicles and very sorry. And he's just saying all
he
these.
doesn't need them anymore.
Well, he was just
Too
saying
soon?
all these things. Wow.
You threw it out there.
Well, yeah.
That's getting close. That was close. The glasses coming off.
Yeah. So one
is
is
that close enough for hate mail? Is it my first time to get hate mail?
I don't think so. I
If you have feedback for
Val,
Val, send it to podcast@moviesthatmakeus.com.
Because I don't care.
she's gonna print it out. She's gonna frame it, hang it up on the wall. It's your first hate mail.
Oh,
Sure,
it's,
yeah.
you think that would be my first? I have a
this show.
file.
I mean, first episode for this episode, not the show. Yeah.
I was going to go somewhere. I have no
You have
idea
no
where.
idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
We're
Now you
talking
know.
about Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right?
Now you see why I don't
Seems
guest
like
a
it.
lot.
Yeah,
I host a lot, but I don't guest very often.
this is norm for us. It's fine.
He listens to
Maybe.
the show. He knows.
So I like Lex Luthor. I like Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Let's talk about the three Kryptonians: Zod, Non, and Ursa. Not Ursa.
Yeah.
That sounded weird.
Naan in the movie is just like naan in real life. It's just bland, tasteless bread,
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
bread, and that's all this guy is. He's just a big dope.
Yep.
But let's be honest, Terrence Stamp, as awesome as he is,
I love him as an actor, and I feel like they just threw him away.
kneel
in this
before Zod. That's his
That's his
90% of his
only line.
dialogue is kneel before Zod.
Right.
That's
and
it.
the other 10% is just Neil.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is all he says.
They just
it's
like
awful.
I think they underutilize him.
They totally
he has
do.
such a great presence, and every time he came on the screen when I was younger, I was like expecting like more,
Right.
Yeah.
and then you didn't get it.
No.
And they looked like Abba's evil twins. So when they showed up, I wasn't scared of them. They just looked like they were some kind of new wave band. And, and all they did was stand around. And the only one that was actually compelling was the female, Ursa.
Right.
Because she was the one that actually would talk to people.
But we all
Right.
know why she was there.
Well,
Yes,
we know why she was there.
We all know the slits and
Yeah.
the patches. We
The
covered
nipples.
that already. Yeah.
But she's kicking guys. She's kicking guys in the nuts in spacesuits, sending them out into the world and off planet. And she's ripping patches and killing people. And everybody else is just standing around looking stupid.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. They really are not as terrifying as they should be.
Yeah.
No.
And I get that they don't, the film, the special effects, all that may not hold up over time, but even in its time and place, they weren't terrifying.
They're
The
more-
laser eyes didn't even match up with the eyes. The lasers were like off.
Yeah.
He had astigmatism. He was the Forrest Whitaker of villains.
Oh, shit.
I can't believe. Wow, stop eye shaming these people.
That feedback goes to the Matinee Heroes email. I don't know what it is. We just send it there. Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about Ned Beatty.
Yes.
He's adorable.
So in Deliverance. Oh, you want to talk about Ned Beatty in this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Otis. Let's go back to
Otis.
Otis.
Otis. He's like the perfect little nothing.
He is. I love Otis.
Like he's just,
comic relief.
He's just there. They're like, okay, we need something. Go on and do something. I don't feel like they even give him a script.
No.
Like I feel
No.
like they just let him loose on the set.
Well, I love when they find the ladder and he's like, what is that? And like, it's a ladder. Like he thinks he's really that stupid, I think. But when he starts climbing it is my favorite because it just keeps coming down.
I think he's the smartest of all of them because they think he's stupid, but really, no. Like I feel like there were some things going on back there.
Really? You
Yeah.
think he's the Machiavellian puppet master that's really doing all
No,
this?
I mean I think he knew exactly where he was and who he needed to be connected with to get what he needed.
This isn't like a Jar Jar Binks Dark Lord of the Sith theory.
You want to go into that conversation?
No, I don't.
Okay, then why do you keep bringing Jar Jar up if you don't want me to talk about him?
The boy who cried Jar Jar. That's what you are.
I don't think I've said Jar Jar Binks that much on the show.
You said it enough.
Apparently.
Enough times.
All right. Moving.
The next time you say it, we better be talking about him.
I'm going to say something that will get probably hate mail. Is that I think Gene Hackman in this movie is the Donald Trump. And it's but it's like everything else. The people he hires for positions are so inept.
Right.
That it's like, why would you surround yourself? The best people. I've got the best. You got morons.
Because they're a bunch of yes
But this
men.
it's exactly like pretty girls in high school. They're never going to surround themselves with prettier girls. That's stupid.
When you're a narcissist, like
the smart people usually try to surround themselves with smart people so they can get their goals accomplished. But he's like actively sabotaging himself.
Smart people.
Well, he's supposed to be a smart person.
He's a genius, yes, but he's also a narcissist.
Well, I understand
he's
that.
very self-centered. I mean, it's beyond just like he's got a big ego. He is the center of his own universe.
Right.
So he surrounds himself with people that agree with everything he says.
Can he get some smarter people that agree with him?
He doesn't want
Well, smart people don't agree with it. That's the problem.
There's got to be some people, because I've met some smart people who have some like they think the Earth is flat. They're
not smart people.
They think, but they're smart in other areas.
Hey, we don't know how much of our audience is flat earthers. All right.
Stop being a flat earther or stop listening to our show.
Nope. It's down to 0%. That's what it's at now.
That gauntlet has been thrown.
I'm just here to clear out the debris.
It's just gone.
If there's any crumbs left, I'm
like
here to.
The high colonic of our show.
Yes, I am a yogurt enema.
Ew.
Texture's weird.
I was watching the history of food on the History Channel last night.
Okay, this has gone so weird.
Jake's gone. The glasses are off. Craig, well done.
Mission accomplished.
That's what denim is.
Is that
Think
going to
of
be
it, a yogurt enema?
That's a weird texture to be up there.
Yeah.
Wow. I have so many questions.
Not for this show.
Not for this show, though.
We'll have to go to my other podcast.
We're going to have you come back on our show.
Seemingly appropriate podcast.
Yeah. We'll have you come on Matinee Heroes again.
And we'll talk about yogurt enemas.
Yeah, let me send myself an email.
Moving right along.
I'm trying to think of what movie would pair up with that.
I mean, I could think of
The Blob?
few,
Let's do The
but
Blob.
I have to go in incognito mode every time I watch them.
It's Matinee Villains Month. We'll do The Blob.
That would work, yeah.
I'm just trying one more time. I just want them off one more time.
Oh, man.
All right. I don't know where to go from there.
I've never had anybody desperately check the time in the middle of my podcast that I've been a part of. He's looking at the timer going, do we have enough to call this a day?
How much do we need?
I was really looking forward to this episode, guys. I'm just saying.
Let's still look forward to it. What else do you have to say?
We've already reached the bottom. We can only go up
Yeah,
from
that's
here.
true.
We're down here swimming in yogurt. How are we going to get out of this?
Please don't tell me I broke the show.
No. It's all good. It's all good. So let's talk about the ending on the Donner cut.
Okay.
Because it's obviously very different from the Superman 2 ending.
So can we talk about the two? Yeah, talk about the two
Compare
different
the
endings.
two. Yeah.
So, I mean, the ending in Superman 2, the theatrical cut that everybody saw for years and years, he defeats the 3 Kryptonians. They're gone.
Right.
Very lame. They just fall.
Yeah, they all just like fall off.
They all could have been defeated if they had just, slipped.
Tripped. Yeah. Like he really didn't do a whole lot.
I mean,
Lois, I think, did more than he did.
Yeah.
Because she
punched
beat up
that one,
Ursa.
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like Star Wars. They just fell into a dark hole, but they could still be
They
alive.
could still be alive. Yeah.
That's true.
They
We
didn't
found
leave
out
any
that's
limbs
not
around,
effective
but-
at all. Everybody who's fallen down into a deep hole, except for Boba Fett, has now come back.
Yay!
He's come back?
No, he hasn't, but
Oh.
But he will.
Maul.
Oh, I know.
Emperor Palpatine.
You can come back 30 years after falling into a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
He was falling the whole time.
so they go, they fall, they're gone. He comes back, kisses Lois. She forgets everything, has no idea that he's Superman.
That's a lame power.
That was
It's a legitimate canon power in the comics.
Is it?
Right.
I was
Yes,
going
it
to
is.
ask.
Yeah, but
Okay.
But it's the lamest of all.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Because every time he kissed her, wouldn't she forget?
Well, apparently he can control it.
Control
maybe.
how much he forgets?
Yeah.
But he just does it this one time.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
he acts like an idiot every time else that she's
Well, it's
around.
the first
This
time
he
that
can
she
control.
remembers.
And what does he sub in for like everything that's happened over the last few days? Like, does she just like that blacks out? Like, oh, the whole world's been under attack by these 3 monsters.
Oh,
and
it's
she
April
doesn't remember-
13th.
Yeah.
No, it's April 17th. Oh,
Yeah.
what?
All right, sure, but So at least in the Donner cut, we get some explanation for why she forgets, because we get the old turn the earth backwards and go back in time thing.
Plus, that just looks cool.
It looks cool, but I don't know how scientifically sound it is.
Don't bring science into this, into the science fiction movie.
To be totally,
do you think that's how time works?
I don't know.
We're going to be talking
Here's
about
the thing.
that.
Nobody's ever tried it, so we don't know it doesn't work.
Do you know time has
no one's
nothing?
tried it.
Well, that's a good point.
You do know that time has nothing to do with how fast the world spins.
It's a cool visual.
It's a cool visual, but yes, it doesn't work that way.
Well, until somebody proves it, I'm going to believe it.
And this is why we had to have the talk with him. Because it happened 9 months later, so he might have forgot what reason why that happened. He may not have put two to two together.
That's a good point.
So that was originally how 2 was going to end, and Superman was going to end differently. There wasn't going to be the time travel.
Right.
But when the relations between Donner and Salkind kind of broke down, then it was decided to put it at the end of Superman the Motion Picture.
Right.
And they changed the ending to Superman 2. But I think it's a better ending than
I agree with
Kiss.
that.
Yeah. You mean the originally planned ending is better than the crap they just threw against the wall? Shocking.
It's weird. It's weird that it works out that way. But it did. I liked seeing the Donner cut because it was nice to see Richard Donner kind of get his vision out there. I mean, obviously it wasn't the same as if he had actually gotten to see the movie
and he was
to
in
the
movie.
finish. Yeah, he was. He was an extra in the movie.
He had a little cameo when they pull up to the diner. He's the one walking.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
He's the one looking, shaking his head with his rubbing his eyes like you do. Off camera, going, "This is a fiasco."
And he uses that as evidence that that was footage that he shot and not Lester, because
that makes sense.
Why would he be an extra in Lester's footage?
Right.
Yeah, but I like it. I like seeing the vision. Obviously, there's the scene in the hotel where Christopher Reeve looks so different. His hair is longer and then shorter, and he's bigger and skinnier because they had to piece together different screen tests and everything. Doesn't look great, but it's good to see the vision kind of.
Oh, absolutely, to see what could have been.
Yeah.
And I think you guys talked about this. Maybe it wasn't on your panel, but my friend James Owen, big Superman fan, and he talked about how that has one of his favorite lines is when Superman says, "General, would you care to take this outside?" And he actually lures them away from the city. Yeah. Before it became, now it's like you have to explain, well, that building is deserted. Oh, we're far away from anybody, so you can have this destructive fight between these super beings.
Because if you just had a fight where they didn't destroy the buildings, you don't have to explain that nobody got hurt when the building was destroyed. It's true.
Yeah. But I think that sums up, to me, the core of Superman. He's looking out for all these people, but yet he's still being very polite to this.
Well, that's the core of all heroes is yes, I have to fight this guy.
Right.
But there are people who I've got to protect as well. So, yes, and that's why Avengers shows it in Age of Ultron and almost all the Marvel movies, they're trying to get people out of the way. Sometimes it happens in DC movies, but not in the Snyder. Snyder doesn't care about anybody.
Right.
But that is that was one of the big sticking points for a lot of people with the new Superman is that, yes, he's not going to save just one person. He's going to try to lure him so far away over the ocean or out in a field somewhere, but you could still do amazing stuff with Superman without having to have him throw into buildings all the time.
Right.
That's just boring. But in the 70s, it was kind of cool to see it at once.
Yeah.
Right. And I love the part where everybody in the city thinks that he's dead. And so they all start coming towards Zod, they're going to do something, and then he blows them all away. But I love that. Hey, and that's what a hero does too, right? That to me, that embodies who Superman is because it inspires us to be better. Yeah. We want to be better because of what he does and what we see him do. We want to achieve something more than what we are.
I still just want that outfit with the patches on the boobs.
There's a cosplay idea there. Go for it.
Oh, I don't want to wear it. I just want to have it.
Just want to have it. Display it on a mannequin.
What I do with my outfits is none of your business.
No point. I'm not asking any more questions.
She's got a secret armoire. She hits a button and it flips over and she's like, and if the guy doesn't freak out,
he's the one.
That's the guy.
Seems like a solid plan.
You were there.
It's like we've been dating for a while.
Get out of my brain.
Let me see if you can handle this.
Wrong button.
How did that get there? That's so weird.
It's so weird.
It's a back massager. It's for my back. It's for my back.
Oh, wow.
It's for my back.
Glasses on for a second time.
The glasses are off for a second.
It's a legitimate medical need.
Well, that's probably all the time we have this week.
So, do you feel Reeve was the best Superman?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who would you say would be second?
I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I don't like what they've done with the character, but he looks the part, and I
Yeah.
think he plays the role really well.
I do too. I wish
would
he would have
probably be
gotten. I
second.
wish he would have gotten a better shot.
We got glimpses of that in Justice League towards
Right.
after he came back, and that's the Joss
Yeah.
Whedon footage.
Yeah, yeah.
We got glimmers of what that Superman should have
Yeah.
been. Yeah.
His head's definitely big enough to be Superman.
Yeah.
And that's
You and
really
your big heads with these superheroes.
If you look at all of the good ones, they all have really large noggins.
it's
true.
widely
Great
known you can
jawlines.
tell the value of a superhero by his hat size.
Okay. These are things that I'm learning from the show. It's an educational show. But really, when you look at the other Superman, I don't even know if anybody comes close. Like, I think Henry Cavill's really good,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
but Christopher Reeve is just,
Well, I like Brandon Routh's impersonation
yeah.
of Christopher Reeve.
But that's
and
all it was an impersonation.
And that's what he was told to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
He was
I'm not gonna
doing
blame
what-
him for
yeah.
that. I thought he did a good
He
job
did
of
his
that.
job.
I think it's interesting. He's going to be on the CW's
Infinite Crisis of
Yeah.
Infinite Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming back
That
to
usually
Superman
doesn't
for that.
happen.
But
Yeah.
but Dean Cain isn't.
True.
You know what? I've
That's
met
fine.
Dean Cain at FanX, and he is a fantastic person. I got to do his
Yeah.
panel, and he is just delightful. It's almost disgusting how delightful he is.
We name dropping now?
Well,
Hold on
we're
a second.
talking about
Well,
Superman.
you dropped that you met Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
met a different Superman.
But
Listen,
I-
this is our show.
that's fine.
Strike one.
I was hoping this was the name dropping section.
Do we have popcorn? Just gonna sit here and let this play out here for a
You guys
minute.
brought up Dean Cain, so
Yeah, no, I liked it.
it was a legitimate name drop.
There you go.
I had no problem with it. Listen, I'm on this side of the table and I'm on your side. I promise. It's anyway. No, I think Christopher Reeve embodied Superman. It's hard for me to think of Superman and not think of Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
And like I said in the panel, nobody does wire work as well as Christopher Reeve.
That's
a very
true.
true point.
And if
Which
you
is
watch
very
this movie,
difficult
you
'cause
can
he's
really
a
see
large
that.
man.
Yeah.
He's a
he's
big
6'3".
guy.
He's not
Yeah.
and he's big.
Well,
not-
and the harnesses back then weren't
Garbage.
nearly as good as they are now.
They were
Yeah.
literal wires. Right here, they've got actual harnesses and all kinds of great stuff that you can. Very skinny wires that you can. But they had to do all kinds of
Big
weird stuff.
cables.
He's
and-
twirling, and he was
Yeah.
really athletic. And I don't think he gets enough credit for the wire work.
absolutely.
Well, and if you
agree.
when you watch Superman 2 and you see the other three flying around,
Yeah.
it doesn't look nearly as
Oh
good.
no, Zod is always scared to land.
Yeah.
He is always putting a foot down way too soon.
And
No
and,
superhero landings there.
Okay.
and I'm not sure that he's one of those action figures. Is that like the arms move but the elbows don't move.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the knees don't move.
Yeah, he was born without elbows. Why do you have to bring that up?
Wow.
I just think it's interesting.
body
Alright.
shaming the
Yeah.
poor guy.
No, but he was that guy
Wow.
was a robot. I think he
Yeah,
was a
he
Disney
was-
animatronic. 'Cause
He was bad.
he made Jaws look like an
No.
amazing actor from James Bond, like a true thespian.
I thought you meant Jaws from Jaws.
No, not the shark. I would have said
Well,
Bruce.
Yeah, that's right, Bruce. But he wasn't good either. So
No.
as far as animatronics things.
But I think he worked better than none.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think he's a Disney animatronic because they look way more realistic than he did. It was
He's like one of the animatronics from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that starts on fire that creeps you out.
Or like the original Westworld.
No, more like Chuck E. Cheese, where they just kind of shake. They just kind of shake and they're.
That's creepy.
Well, we love
but
that
now
when
I
we
want
were
cheese
kids.
pizza for
That's because
some
we were
reason.
stupid. We didn't know any better.
That's
We
true.
liked a lot of stuff when we were kids. And
Oh,
Chuck
yeah.
E. Cheese was like
That
looking at a
was-
human rat. And then as you get older, you realize, oh, it's
Oh,
a
that
sad
was
divorced dad in a suit.
yeah. It's true. It's true. I think about that a lot. Not the sad divorce.
No.
But like when my kids are into something, I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? And then I think I was into good stuff when I was a kid. Then I watched
Then
the
you're
stuff
like,
I was
no,
into.
I
I'm like,
wasn't.
nope, I was into crap, just like
All
them.
crap.
I have that same feeling when I think about bronies. I'm like, what? I don't. Okay. I mean, I'm going to judge you, but I'm going to let you do what you want.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make you feel bad about it. But in my head, I'm judging. I'm judging lots.
And then I put
We
on my
call
Star
that
Trek
not
pen.
judging out loud.
Right. Keep my Orange County judging.
So if we give this movie a grade, this Orange County judging, is that okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just like Draper judging.
Okay. I'm there. I'm with you.
Draper drudging.
Draper
judging.
judging.
The drudgeries of
The
Draper.
drudgeries of Draper.
If we give this movie a grade, what would you give it?
I give it a solid B because it's super entertaining. It doesn't matter that it doesn't all work, but I'm gonna watch it again.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd go B. I'd say the Donner cut B, the original theatrical probably B minus.
Okay.
I like the Donner cut just a little bit better, but
Yeah, because I was going to give the
solid good Christopher Reeve, and the casting is fantastic.
Yeah, Margot. We didn't talk about Margot Kidder, but
Oh, she's so good.
amazing.
We kind of did, but yeah.
yeah, she was great.
So
in
it's
this.
just like back then. They didn't really utilize her either.
Yeah.
So we're
She was
just
an-
following
there was
along
a
with the
token
movie.
female.
she was an afterthought. Yeah,
talked about Ursa's boobs and nothing about Margot Kidder. I just feel like we did something wrong.
I mean,
Sorry.
we're going along with the era that the movie was made in.
And now we're using their excuses too. It's just how it was, back then.
nothing we can do
That's the way
about
I
it.
was raised. I can't help
Nothing
it.
we can do about it.
Nothing
That's
we
just-
can't change.
Hands are tied.
Well, do you want to go back and redo this episode, or do you want to?
No,
move along?
I don't think I
Okay,
want to go
just
back
trying
and
to
redo
help
this
you out.
episode.
Just trying
She's
to
like-
help you.
He's like, I'd rather deal with
You
the.
keep digging a hole. I'm trying to help you out of it, but you keep digging in it, and we all know what's the bottom of it.
He'd rather deal with the evil he knows than the evil he doesn't know.
That's right. I have no idea what happened if we went back and tried to redo this. Craig, what about you? What grade would you give the film?
I would actually give it a B plus, the Donner cut a B plus, but I would give the I'd give the original like a B minus because I think they're pretty far apart.
Right.
I don't think they're like a half grade apart. I think they're a full grade. So I wouldn't give one a B or B minus. It's like B plus, B minus.
Okay.
Because I again, Donner had a plan.
Right.
And when you have a plan, especially a 2-film plan, and it's usually much better than just kind of winging it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it kind of works for panels and podcasts, but it doesn't really work for movies. Not that you guys wing it. I'm talking about.
I think you
no.
totally are talking about us right now. Strike
I was
two.
talking.
He's on to us.
No, that was a subtle dig on Alan, who's not going to listen to the
Oh, okay.
podcast. At least not this far into the podcast.
On the theatrical, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm either a C plus or a B minus. Just B minus only because of the nostalgia for me. I loved that movie growing up.
Right.
But the Donner cut, I think, is a solid B movie. B grade, not B movie, but
Yeah, gotcha.
yeah. But I love that we get to see the story. I love that we get to see more of Jor-El and Superman and their interaction and everything. It's good. It's a good movie. So if you go watch this, watch the Donner cut
Yeah, and the trailer.
and the trailer.
Have a Donner party and watch the Donner cut. And
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far.
It's my favorite kind of party, Donner dinner party. That's
ain't no
great.
party like a Donner party because the Donner party just don't stop. And the barbecue's excellent.
Oh,
I thought they were cold cuts.
Oh man!
We're
Dad
just gonna-
jokes.
Are we going to keep
I've
going
got
with
dad
this?
jokes.
All right. Well,
Nothing
thanks for
but
listening.
dad
No,
jokes.
real quick. How
Oh,
long?
okay. I'll trust you. I'll let you keep going,
Just
please.
one thing.
What are you
can-
gonna
you
sing
can-
us? How are you going to
long
sing
do
us
you
out
guys
today,
think
Tracy?
that they're going to wait to relaunch Superman because they have to,
What time is it?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I'm like, it's already.
They're already working on the script,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You think?
I think they'll relaunch it pretty quick. I think.
They've already
We're-
proven that they're stupid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think DC is probably going to scrap the whole combined universe
I agree with that.
thing,
Mhm.
and especially because I'm hearing really good things about the Joker, and I think that's
getting
going to do
really
really
good
well.
reviews.
But that's going to be so different
yeah, it's,
Right.
Well,
that it's
right.
not going to fit into it.
Well,
It's
they-
not gonna
they
fit in with
kind
the
of said
Justice
that they
League. It's not
wanna
gonna
have
fit
these
in.
standalone films and let the directors have their own vision for each film.
Yeah.
And it can't because it was based in 1981. So it's definitely
Right.
not going to be able to fit
Right.
into any of this.
Right,
Yeah.
and so because of that, I think it will be successful. I think that's the direction that they go. I hope so, and so we'll see a new
I
Superman.
mean, but the Batman is totally different than the
Right.
Joker movie. Yeah.
right.
Mhm. And they got the Flash movies, I guess, is back on with Ezra Miller, but it's
Yeah.
Andrew Machete, director of It,
Yeah.
is going to direct
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Which I
Speaking,
think will be very interesting.
speaking of It, we did get a request in our email to do the old It.
The
Mm.
miniseries,
The
the
miniseries.
Tim Curry one.
all right. Good luck.
You guys want to make me cry? Is that
Well, I'm
what
not
your
saying-
goal
Whoa.
is?
I think that'll be just a Tracy
It's a
only
solo.
episode.
I have to
I'm
go
like,
see it too this week, so I can talk about it on Friday. I'm gonna have to go home and watch Moana after.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. All right, sing
Yep.
us out.
Um,
Just kidding. I don't know.
I was
I was gonna say, what are you gonna do the Superman theme for us?
If you want
Da,
to
da,
let us know
da,
what you
da.
thought of the show,
You could do the "Can You Read My Mind" song. You know.
Oh, that
Yeah,
I don't
let's
think
not do
anybody
that.
wants
Let's not do that.
No.
We could do a duet though. No,
what?
nobody
you
wants
wanna
that
sing?
either.
You're gonna sing, Jake?
All
That's
right.
weird.
Well, thanks for listening, and we won't see you at the movies.
You're gonna tell them where to, send us in.
Oh yeah, feedback. podcast at movies that make
Let
us
me help
talk.
you out with
I
your
was
job.
like,
You have one job, man.
it's like I'm like just ending it right now. Just stop.
He actually turned this off 5 minutes ago. He's just doing this to make us feel better.
Movies or podcasts at movies@makeus.com. You can send us any feedback there. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitter. We are at Movies Make Us. Everywhere else for Movies That Make Us. We're on YouTube now.
Yeah.
We need to put like some real videos on there, not just anyway. We'll talk about that.
I'll shoot some videos.
Nice. All right. Well, I don't know.
Should I end it? Is that where I hit the...
We won't see you at the movies. Bye.
This is the...
This has been a Stolen Droids Media production.